With the two dual practices out of the way from earlier this week, what can we really expect to see tonight when we play the Panthers? Welcome to a game day edition of Believers Talk. My name is Joe, and again, we're going to sit here and we're going to talk again for the second week. Game day. Just let that sink in. It's game day. Yes, it's week 2 of the preseason, so we need to calm down a little bit, but still Buffalo Bills football. We got to watch some football yesterday. We got to watch Sam Darnold yesterday and the rival Jets. Now we get to watch our team tonight, and I'm so looking forward to that. Looking forward to the matchup tonight against the Carolina Panthers. Now, this matchup might be a little bit different than last week. Not sure how it's going to go. Again, the result really doesn't matter. The main concern is that we stay injury-free. We're unable to do that last week. Had a couple injuries, including Bodine and I know there was someone else in concussion protocol. You guys will let me know in the comment section. But we got two minor injuries. Obviously, we had the Zay Jones scare last week as well. So you want to stay injury-free for the most part, and so that's the main concern when you talk about these preseason games. But what are we going to see today? Because you remember that the Carolina Panthers and Buffalo Bills have had these two dual practices, right? Both Monday and Tuesday, we had those dual practices, so maybe the coaches got to see more of what they want to see in those times, and they don't need to see as much today on the field as they did earlier this week. So I'm not sure how much time you're going to see out of the starters. We all know that some of the starters won't be playing at all. I mean, we're talking about Mitch Morse. He is still considered in concussion protocol, although again, I think he's fine. Even in those dual practices, you did see him taking snaps with Josh Allen. So I believe that Mitch Morse is fine. Will not be playing in this game, however, so he is still listed under concussion protocol. Obviously, Bodine will not be playing in this game. Injured himself last week. He will not be here. Gaines obviously will not be playing in this week again. So that's one name to look at. You look at E.J. Gaines' replacement. You're talking about Captain Munderland, formerly of the Carolina Panthers, so he gets to show off to his old team and his new team as he gets ready for his first game as a Buffalo Bill. So let's see how he does. You talk about a veteran guy, has that veteran presence. Let's see how he does with the defensive backs, see what he brings to the table. I'm really looking forward to that. Another position I want to see, that running back position. We may see LaShawn McCoy in for a couple of plays, but that's not really who I want to see. I want to see two guys in particular. First, I want to see TJ Yeldon, right? After last week, after that fumble, after being benched after that fumble, how does he respond? Because that could go a long way in determining if he's going to make this roster or not. You have to believe after last week's performance, he's on the outside looking in. If he has a good performance tonight, does that maybe bump him up a little bit? And then the second running back I want to see is more of Christian Wade. Obviously, everyone's talking about him after last week's 65-yard run. He had two good dual practices. I still think he's going to be on the Buffalo Bills practice squad. That's my opinion, just because we get that extra spot. However, if he has a good performance tonight, if he has good performance week 3, do we consider making him part of that 53-man roster? You know, you talk about him potentially being in the return game. Even though we know that we signed Andre Roberts just to be a return specialist, Andre Roberts and Josh Allen are actually having good communication at that wide receiver position right now. So if we use Andre Roberts as another receiver, maybe even moves up to 3, let's just say, for example, do we really want to use him as both our kick and punt returner as well? Maybe not. So that might open up a spot for Christian Wade. Also, again, if he runs the ball, TJ Yeldon seems to still have issues with this offense. Maybe that moves him up a spot as well. We know Devin Singletary is going to do all right? I mean, my biggest concern about McCoy, Gore, and Singletary is that they don't get hurt. That's my biggest concern about those 3 guys. We know where they're at on this roster. We know what we're looking at when we see them. Just avoid the injury. That's my biggest concern there. But when it comes to TJ Yeldon, when it comes to Christian Wade, when it comes to Spencer Ware, there are some guys I'm looking at as our running backs that I'm saying, hey, What are we going to do with these guys moving forward? So I look forward to seeing them in the game tonight. That's one position of concern, or one position of interest for me, I should say. Another position of interest is that wide receiver position, right? I talked about it just yesterday in my video about how I think Buffalo Bills could trade for a wide receiver. So last week after the game, we saw the ripple effect. We saw the players dropped. We saw the trade with Eli Harold. Now, yes, some of that was due to injury, like the Captain Munderland thing. But you have to wonder how wide receivers play today. Will that have a ripple effect on the rest of the week? Will the Bills make that trade? Will the Bills drop a receiver? What will they do to kind of wake them up? If you see some more dropped balls today, that might make the coaching staff have to do something to wake this wide receiving core up and say that's not acceptable. Plus, you want to see Josh Allen continue his good correlation, or his good precision with John Brown and Cole Beasley. Everyone's talking about how good they've looked together so far. We want to keep that unity, that cohesiveness together. So I'm looking at that. Want to see Josh Allen, how he reads the defense, how he goes through his progressions. Again, that's something I'm really looking forward to in these preseason weeks. Like I said last week, if he cannot read a vanilla defense, okay, and read his progressions in a vanilla defense, because that's what we're playing here in preseason. We're not playing like these highly complicated defensive schemes. But if he can read these defenses, then that bodes well moving forward. Maybe once we get to the complicated defenses, including week 1, when we go up against the Greg Williams Jets defense, maybe it'll get a little bit tougher, but at least we know he's starting to improve when it comes to reading his progressions. So I look forward to seeing Josh Allen stay in the pocket a little bit more. Only had 1 rush last week, so that's what I want to see from him in these preseason games. No reason to risk getting hurt. Maybe just get the legs moving a little bit, run it 1-2 times, but let's not go nuts here and see if we can get our quarterback hurt. That's not what we need to do. And again, the most important thing is to stay away from injuries. We want to stay healthy, free of injuries. We saw yesterday, Baltimore Ravens player had an injury to his neck. Now he might be out for the season. So we see these injuries happen. We just hope that we can avoid them as best as possible. As far as the defense is concerned, I'm looking to see what veteran players play this week that did not play last week. And the same would go for the offense. But I'm thinking about Lorenzo Alexander. I'm thinking about our secondary, who's going to play there. Like I talked about earlier, we do have Captain Munderland in. Is he can get a lot of time with the Buffalo Bills defense. And then another guy I'm interested in when it comes to our D-backs, Kevin Johnson. We've seen his role in this defense kind of come to form since training camp, then the week last week, then the dual practices this week. I want to see how he does in that position this week, now that it's definitely where Coach McDermott wants him, where they want him to play, Leslie Frazier as well. I want to see how he does with that going into this week. Another thing we need to see with this defense is they are going up against Cam Newton and the first team Carolina offense. So last week we didn't get to see Andrew Luck. Looks like that Andrew Luck injury is a little more serious than people thought at first. But this week we do go up against Cam Newton. First, how long are they going to keep Cam Newton in for? Probably not that long, right? Probably a series or 2. But let's see how this defense reacts. Again, it'll be a good test for our defense. It looked really good last week. Let's see how they do this week and see if they can keep that momentum going forward into the regular season, or at least into week 3 of the preseason. Again, these games, the results don't matter. However, you're talking about momentum, you're talking about looking at a player individually, these things matter. So, we won last week. Will we win this week? We're 2-point dogs. Does it really matter? No, not that much. But I want to see how we do against Cam Newton. I want to see how our linebackers do when they're forced to cover Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield, right? I want to see who covers Christian McCaffrey, because when you talk about a division that has Dion Lewis and Le'Veon Bell in it, those are the type of backs that love coming out of the backfield and making plays. Who's going to stick with them? Is it going to be Edmonds? Is it going to be Milano? Or is it going to be Alexander? Who do we got? Obviously, it determines which side they go out to. But I'm very interested to see if we can keep up with those running backs. So those are a few things I'm interested to see tonight in the preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. What are you interested in looking at? What are you most looking forward to in tonight's game? Again, leave a comment. Let me know. I happily respond to all the comments. Again, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, so much going on in 2019. You don't want to miss it. So hit that subscribe button, like this video, then go over to #sports. Subscribe to them as well if you haven't already. Follow us on sportscaster.com as we give you live play-by-play reaction to every single Buffalo Bills regular season game. So again, go there, hit that subscribe button. When you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, lets you know when a video is released. We will talk to you all soon. Until we do, go Bills.